Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new Argo. I say welcome back, but it's brand new. So this is our ship now. That's our Leopard that we had before, and the rest of it is the Argo. So let's go ahead and head into the mech bay here. Okay, so we do need to refit our Blackjack. So let's go ahead and do that first of all. We'll replace that arm, repair everything, and we will put on an AC2. Like so. And we'll put on a small jump jet, which is in the equipment tab. We'll just stick that in the leg, I think. No, we don't stick it in the leg. We stick it where? Where does it go? Maybe it does go in the leg? Yeah, it does go in the leg. Okay, so we'll go ahead and confirm that. That'll cost 60,000 C-bills and take 10 days, which is a bit on the unfortunate side. We'll also need to repair this Centurion, 15,000 C-bills and 4 days, but other than that, we are good to go. So, the next thing we should do, probably, is check the store. There we go. Com 1B, AC5 Plus. It's a plus, we might want to pick that up.
New weapon systems available.
So we'll go ahead and grab that. Ooh, a medium laser plus plus. We'll grab that for sure.
New weapon systems available.
And a medium laser plus. We'll grab that as well. Cockpit mod. Injury resistance. Oh, okay. How much does that actually weigh? Nothing. We'll pick that up too.
New equipment
That'll be great for a quick draw. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop into here. We're going to need to refit our quick draw a bit here. We did get those 2 medium lasers and that AC5. I'm not sure if we're going to use the AC5 immediately, but we are going to put on these 2 medium lasers. So we're going to go ahead and put this one, this plus plus, in the torso here. And then we're going to put the other one in the arm, just so that if one of these locations gets blown up, we won't lose both of them. There we go. And then we are also going to put in this cockpit mod. There we go. So that'll cost 2,500 and take 5 days. That's fine.
Logged and noted.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too hard.
And then the question is, do we want... Well, we're currently working on fixing this guy up. I don't think we use the AC5 yet. We don't really have anything that's really using AC5s. So let's go ahead and head over and talk to Farah.
What's on your mind?
Commander Law, what can I do for you? Patching up the Argo must have been an enormous job. How'd you do it? Oh, it wasn't just me. I had a team working under me, over 200 of Lyratan's most accomplished engineers, electricians, and shipwrights. It was pretty amazing, I've got to say, shouting through a megaphone at a team of hundreds, watching them hang on my every word. How much did Lady Arano pay for all that? Oh, it wasn't Lady Arano. The payments came directly from House Centrella. That was a figure of speech. They were indirect payments, of course, routed through countless intermediaries to obscure where the money came from. But, yeah, the Centrellas paid for it. Had you ever managed a team that big before? Never in my wildest dreams. Prior to my time at the Lyratan shipyard, the biggest team I'd ever managed was the crew I had with me on Axelis, and they all got killed. This job went a lot better than that one did, by the way. Only 3 deaths across the entire project. And before you ask, none of them was my fault. There was an accident with one of the industrial cranes, and, well, it was horrible. I pray for their souls. That went off the rails in a pretty big way, didn't it? Sorry about that. I guess I'm still in a little bit of shock after our time on Axelis. I'm having a hard time getting what I saw out there out of my mind, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the ship. Is there something else you'd like to know? I do have some questions for you about it. Yes, Commander, of course. Ask me whatever you'd like. What can you tell me about the Argo? A fair amount, Commander. I've been researching this ship for several months. Boeing Interstellar produced just 2 of these beauties back in 2762. They were intended to follow behind the first wave of exploratory missions, supporting multiple surveyor, terraformer, and colonizer teams on deep survey missions. Although she's far too large to land on a planet, her docking collar system allows for smaller dropships like your Leopard to come along for the ride. The Argo is a mobile space station, in a sense, providing supply and temporary habitation for teams on dangerous missions in unsettled space. Exploration vessel or no, she sounds ideal for our purposes. She is, and with 57,000 tons of cargo space, she has all the room we need for supplies, spare equipment, personnel, you name it. In fact, her hold is so vast we'll have no trouble storing as many mech chassis and partial mech salvage as you can get your hands on. Why don't we see more ships like the Argo out here? The Argo is the product of her era. She lacks the armor or maneuverability to function in battle, and she's vastly outclassed in size and firepower by even the smallest warships. She's a peacetime ship meant for peacetime exploration duties and planned with a focus on long-term orbital deployment. It was her non-combat design that ultimately led to her abandonment. In an earlier era, she might have seen widespread usage, but the fall of the Star League and the near-constant state of war we've endured since then has rendered the Argo little more than a forgotten experimental footnote in the history of dropship production. Sad, really. In her own way, the Argo represents the back seat that science and exploration have taken in pursuit of military goals. Can the Argo be improved? From her current state? Absolutely. In the Star League days, this ship was state-of-the-art. Now she's a shell of her former glory. With time and sea bills, though, there are plenty of ways I can upgrade her. It's about increasing efficiency. As your executive officer Darius is so fond of saying, time is money. He says that a lot, you know. Tell me about systems and support upgrades. Systems and support upgrades are fundamental to returning the Argo to her former glory. They're foundational. I can do some basic upgrades and improve performance in a few areas, but without improvements to systems and support, you're limited in how far you can go without upgrades. In addition to the foundational upgrades she requires, I can also upgrade the Argo's drive system to improve her travel speed. And with some work, I can bring more of her habitat pods back online, so you can hire on more mech warriors and have a place for them to bunk. Tell me about combat and deployment upgrades. Combat and deployment upgrades come in 3 flavors: those that increase our mech bay capacity, those that improve mech repair and refit speed, and those that intensify mech warrior training. Increasing mech bay capacity means more battle mechs ready for immediate deployment. It takes time and sea bills to pull mech chassis out of storage and refit them with weapons and equipment. More mech bay capacity means less downtime. If your lance gets banged up on a mission and needs weeks of repair time, you won't be able to take another contract unless you have mechs in reserve. Improving your repair and refit speed gets your battle mechs out of the mech bay and back on the battlefield, where they can be earning us money. Finally, adding and upgrading mech warrior training simulators will allow your mech warriors to improve their skills and abilities during the inevitable downtime of interstellar space travel. That would be nice. That'd be really, really nice. Tell me about personnel and medical upgrades. Just like battle mechs, your mech warriors will need to be patched up from time to time. Upgrading the Argo's medical facilities means getting your people back to work quicker. There's a display of our medical bay's efficiency and medical points on your travel display under the finances and crew morale readouts. The higher the medical rating, the faster your mech warriors will heal. Okay, can we upgrade more than one system at the same time? Sorry, Commander, no can do. The rule is one update at a time, and I wrote it for a reason. I'm the only one qualified to oversee this work, and if I spread myself too thin, bad things could happen. Extinction-level things. Well, for us at least. That's enough for now, Dr. Murad. Very well, Commander. If you ever decide that you'd like to discuss the ship further, you need only ask. Well, if you're going to be a part of this crew, I want a better sense of who you are. Tell me about yourself. Well, I'm an actual doctor, but not the medical kind. I hold 2 doctorates, one in physics, the other in mechanical engineering. And now I'm hauling around in a Lost Tech Wonder with a crew of merry pirates seeking my fortune. It's funny the places life takes you. Okay, I've got the elevator pitch. Now give me the long version. Yeah, sure, if you like. Let's see, where to begin? Well, I was born on Regulus in the Free Worlds League. My parents were academics. I know, big surprise, and I spent most of my early years bouncing back and forth between their suburban apartment and the Firdausi, my Baba June's live-in dropship. Your Baba June? Who was that? My grandfather. He'd carved out a nice little business for himself running a taxi service for pilgrims traveling to and from Dar es Salaam. As much as my father frowned on Baba June's old-fashioned lifestyle and beliefs, he wasn't blind to how much I loved the old man, and so he occasionally consented to let me board the Ferdowsi and go along for the ride. I will always cherish my memories of those voyages, the warmth behind Baba Jun's smile, the excitement of leaving Regulus behind, chatting with the pilgrims and getting lost in the stars, and eating prepackaged pheasantgen out of a shiny tin. Those times are all crystal clear in my memory, as if they happened yesterday. Oh, how I miss that wonderful man. This may seem silly coming from a mercenary engineer, but I've come to think of the life I've chosen as a way of honoring my Baba Jun. By carving my own path among the stars, I'm doing what I can to keep his memory alive. That sounds trite, I'm sure, but sue me. It's what I've chosen to believe. What about after you left home? Where did you study? I actually spent a little time in the Lyran Commonwealth before I pursued my studies. Long story, that, but suffice to say that it was its own kind of learning experience. When I did decide to get a higher education, I wound up back in the Free Worlds League. I did my undergrad studies at the University of Atraitus, then went on to Sion University in the Capellan Confederation to earn my doctorates. For a top 3 school with a Maskarovka-screened admissions process, CNU was surprisingly open to transfer students. Maskarovka is, of course, like the secret police of the Capellan Confederation, the intelligence outfit. Anyway, I could go on and on for hours about my academic career, and you'd probably smile and nod as I rambled, but come on, I mean, this can't be interesting for you, can it? You're a mercenary. You stomp around in a giant robot for a living. The closest I got to adventure back then was my dissertation at defense. That's enough family history. Let's ask about something else. Have you always wanted to be a shipboard engineer? No, not always. When I was 15, I wanted to be a statistician. You know, a nice quiet life alone in the ivory tower. That was what my personal dropship was going to be called. Preparing mathematical models and studying survey results. So, yeah, you know, every girl's dream. I guess. Didn't you ever want to do anything, I don't know, more exciting? Like being a mech warrior? No. Much as I love the idea of stomping around in a giant robot, I'm not huge on the whole murdering people with lasers thing. It doesn't really square with my personal beliefs. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy to work with mech warriors. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here. But the actual firing of weapons? No, it isn't for me. You still seem pretty enthusiastic about it. Why didn't you follow through? Well, interests change. I mean, I still like statistics, but it's really more of a hobby now. Is that weird? People have told me it's weird. I don't know. Plotting graphs and forecasting future events calms me. It's like my own little way of using math to bring order from chaos. And besides, everybody needs a hobby. I know for a fact that Darius crochets. Okay. So what made you want to get into engineering? Uncle Heiner's Experiment World, live-action STEM entertainment program from the Lyran Commonwealth that started airing just after my 19th birthday. You may have seen it. It ran for 3 seasons before it was cancelled. The host was a tattooed, chain-smoking nihilist who taught children the magic of chemistry. You know, making thermite with aluminum cans and a belt sander. That kind of thing. Yeah, I remember. You liked that guy? I married him. Long story. But the important bit is, in the 6 months before the annulment, I learned that I had a real talent with machines. When Heiner blew out a power relay or took a tire iron to the bandsaw, I was the one who could put it back together again. I found a great deal of peace in that. From there, it was just a matter of getting into the right schools and following my bliss. So that's what I did, and well, here I am. Turned out alright for me, all things considered. Can we discuss something work-related? Of course, Commander. I'm always happy to talk shop. Well, we don't have anything to talk shop about, so talk to you later, Doc.
Keep safe, boss.
Okay, so let's take a look at our ship upgrades here. Okay. How much are these? So, repaired power conduits. So, okay, so there's the upkeep cost here. Yeah, so these upgrades cost upkeep as well. It's not just the initial outset. So, yeah, I feel like we just go ahead and do this power system upgrade because these are the foundational ones. The Argo's power system is a wreck, and getting a minimal level of power to the ship's systems without constant trip breakers and brownouts is a minor miracle. I'm terrified of the current state of the power system, Commander. Repairing it should be a top priority. We cannot bring most of the Argo's other systems online until the power is stable. Also, I'd avoid touching any exposed deck plating, just in case. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
It'll take a bit, but we'll
Work on that has begun. It will end in 10 days. Okay, so let's take a look at our mech warriors here and just make sure that we don't have anything to spend. Actually, we do. Gonna go ahead and grab that on us.
Yes, Commander.
And now Behemoth. Oh, that would be great. We're gonna keep going down the guts tree for Behemoth. That'll be fine. Decker is fine.
What can I do for you?
Glitch, let's go ahead and grab this point in tactics.
Training complete.
There you go.
Orders.
And Medusa, at this point, we just kind of keep advancing, I think. Yeah, those are passive effects, so... Yeah, I feel like we just keeping him about even at this point. Okay, so let's take a look at our timetable here. Our financial report is due in 6 days. That's not too bad. And we have a lot of work coming in over the course of 27 days. So let's take a look at our contracts here. Oh, Alexander is here. Well, we may as well talk to him, I guess. Commander Law, welcome to my corner of the command center. From here, I can provide Mr. Oliveira with advice and information whenever he needs it. I want to be a resource for you as well. In keeping with my role as Restoration Liaison, I will give you whatever additional information I can about our campaign moving forward. Come see me after any major operation, and I'll share whatever I can. I'd like to discuss the state of our war against the Directorate. Things are going well enough, Commander. Our initial attack on Weldry was an enormous success, despite the psychological costs of what we discovered there. Still, the Directorate's atrocities have steeled our resolve. I've never seen Lady Arano so determined. Out of curiosity, Commander Law, what did you think of her speech? I recorded it, you know. The broadcasts are on their way to every corner of Directorate space. Well, it sounded raw, from the heart. Mastiff would have been proud. Good, that's what I was hoping to hear. The presumption of authenticity will carry us far. For what it's worth, Lady Arano meant every word she said, but the people may not see it that way. Espinosa's propaganda machine will do everything in its power to tarnish our accomplishments and drag us through the dirt. I can imagine the headlines now. Police and civil servants cut down by weapons of war. Dangerous convicts set loose by a traitor, endangering nobles and commoners alike. A dangerous narrative, and one that we'll have to counter at every turn. With luck, many of our people will believe what they've heard in our broadcast over the Directorate's propaganda, but I fear that Espinosa's hardline supporters will be far less eager to listen. If we fail to turn them against the Directorate, we run the risk of ongoing violence, even after we liberate their home systems. That's why messages like Kameo's speech are so important. Which one do we want to go for here? We would need some of our own. I think we go for this one. If the Directorate is using propaganda, we need some of our own. Got it. Sadly, yes. If we're going to win this war, we need to rally the Arigan people, including a percentage of Espinosa's supporters. They have to see that we're better than the Directorate, again and again, until our message is impossible to ignore. For you, that means military victories. For me, it means more broadcasts, spin, and outreach. Public opinion is just another battlefield, and I'll be knee-deep in the trenches until the day I die. You're new on this crew, so tell me about yourself. I'd be happy to, but honestly, Commander, I've been so consumed with matters of war of late that I wouldn't even know where to begin. Tell me about who you were before Kamea's exile and the Restoration. A noble scion, much the same as you were, from what I understand. As a fellow noble, I'm sure that you already know more than most about my upbringing. It was a life of great privilege and even greater expectation. I spent my early years invested in academic pursuits, the study of history, mathematics, and statecraft. I strove to excel at every subject, anything to avoid disappointing my mother and father. The extent to which they would come to disappoint me is a cruel irony, but it's one that I've come to accept. What kind of expectations did you have to meet? Do you know House Madeira's motto? Behold our splendor. I had a family obligation to live extravagantly, and to do so within the public eye, but I was also expected to develop my intellect. My life was a 50-50 split between carousing and academic study. In truth, it felt like I was leading two lives, and putting on a show in both. But I'll never complain about my upbringing. I have enjoyed advantages that most children in the periphery could only dream of. Must be hard to have your own parents betray you. Oh, it is. Nothing could be harder. When Kamea retakes her throne, there will be a reckoning, and Directorate collaborators will be tried for their crimes. My mother and father will be at the front of that list, and as terrible as it feels to say it, they'll deserve whatever punishment they receive. Sorry to hear it, Lord Madeira. Let's talk about something else. Tell me about Goldra. What kind of world is it? A truly beautiful one. You should really travel there sometime after all of this is over and see it for yourself. Imagine lush, green lowlands giving way to mile upon mile of white sand coastline, sandy beaches kissed by warm, salty seas, and soft rain perfumed with saffron and cardamom. And that's not to mention the wildlife. Close your eyes and imagine it, Commander. Shield terns wheeling and soaring, their brilliant plumage glittering in the sunlight, leviathan sablefish flashing silver beneath the waves, dolphinfish leaping, breaching the surface of the water in riotous streaks of yellow and green. Places like Goldra are special, Commander Law. They must be preserved. This is what we're fighting for, something unspoiled and unique and ours. Something that reminds us how good the periphery can be. Oh, okay, so, done talking to that guy. Let's see what we've got available for contracts, shall we? We've got an embassy extraction. Holy crap, this liberation. They're not even paying that much. And it's 3.5 skulls. That sounds terrible. This one is right here. Both of these are for the Arano Restoration. Our reputation with them is currently friendly. That's a lot of pay. That is a lot of pay. Alternately, there's this at the Capellan Confederation in Kimi. Well, our mechs are pretty down for the count for quite a while, so I feel like taking a travel contract is probably for the best. This is also the least pay and the easiest one to do, so this is probably the safest. One of our VIPs is in a Capellan facility on Kimi. We need to get her off-world, but the building is surrounded by local government forces. You will sweep aside the opposition, recover our VIP, and transport her to a designated landing zone for extraction. Be prepared for opposition. The local government units surrounding the embassy won't let you extract our personnel without a fight. Payment will be issued when you deliver our VIP alive and in one piece. The enemy has to be expecting an attempt to break their siege, so there will be significant resistance. So we're going to go ahead and negotiate this one. If there's significant resistance, I kind of feel like a bit less on the pay front and a bit more on the salvage front. And we'll go ahead and accept that contract. And we'll do our travel there. Off goes the Argo. It's pretty glorious, in fact. Yeah, that is a glorious Argo indeed. So here's our financial report. It costed us about 400k here. Argo operating costs appear to have replaced the interest payment now. That's fine. They are higher than the interest payment. We're going to operate on normal morale for right now. There we go. Our spider is now complete. And the ship upgrade is now complete as well. Repaired power conduits is now complete. Darius opens the morning briefing with a scowl on his face. We picked up new supplies a few weeks ago, and we're just now opening some of the crates of machine tools. And well, I can't believe that this has happened again, but Yang practically explodes from his chair. We have more frozen Triple F burger meat. Do you know how hard this stuff is to come by in the periphery? Dr. Murad sighs audibly. Please tell me that the refrigeration was still operational. I don't want a repeat of last time. Don't worry, Doc. My team will take care of the goods. Yang flashes you a winning smile. What do you say, Commander? Burgers are on the menu? Okay, so we don't have the hydroponics done. We could destroy the meat, give the crates of meat to Yang, or task Darius with selling them on the market, so we can't actually keep them around. I think we give the crates of meat to Yang and just we eat it right now. It'll probably raise morale this way. Yang's eager face makes it a little harder to strike a stern tone. Chief, I'm going to give you this shipment, but, you add forcefully, this time I don't want to find half of your technicians in the med bay. I want those things cooked well done, and then some. Later in the week, word spreads of the dinner that Yang threw for his mech techs, complete with a fresh batch of engine room rust gut. While not everyone got a chance to partake, the persistent smell of barbecued Triple F has somehow increased refit productivity, and your mech warriors are happy with the results. Morale +1, company gains a +1 tech point boost for 7 days. Excellent. Okay, so let's go check out our ship upgrades and see what we want to upgrade next. Potentially we want to get ourselves a second mech bay, +3 tech points. The mech bay supports up to 12 battle mechs ready for battle. That would be quite good. We've got a lot of extra space in here, Commander. It's just full of junk and pirate garbage, and half the walls are missing. I could pull my engineers off mech duties, and we could probably get another 6 mech cubicles online. Just say the word. However, we're not really using the mech bays that we have right now. There's this structural repair here. That wouldn't cost very much at all. The mech bays would cost a lot per month. Alternately, we could do this. Improved power conduits. Running power through patched-together conduits isn't reliable or safe. Upgrading all the conduits throughout the Argo is a monumental task, but necessary for anything that places a significant load on the system. So that doesn't cost too much monthly. It is a pretty big outlay, but I feel like we do this. Maybe. The other option, of course, is structural repair or automation. 8,500. I like this. +2 tech points. Many of the Argo's mech bay systems were only meant to be used with sophisticated Star League-era automation. Bringing that automation even partially back online is a substantial force multiplier to Yang's skills. This stuff can't do the work for me, but it comes awfully close. You want to speed things up around here? Give me the resources to get these machines back online. Let's do this so that we can repair faster. That'll be really nice.
I'll get the team on it right away.
Okay. And now we'll continue heading on towards our travel. We will get there before that upgrade finishes up, so that's fine. Argo is awfully big to be attaching to that thing. It's like 25% the size of that jump ship. There we go. I just love the aesthetics of this game. Looks fantastic. Okay, so here we are at our destination. Our mech warriors did recover. Let's not proceed with the current contract quite yet, because we still have our Centurion and our Quick Draw. I think that we just jump ahead those 8 days. So, in fact, it'll probably be less time because the automation is now complete. So let's check out what ship upgrade to do next. Training modules would be a really solid investment early on. And I feel like we do this. Mech warriors gain 20 XP per day. Mech warriors with less than 10,000 total experience can benefit from this training. Okay. So our veteran mech warriors won't benefit too much. This set of networked battle pods allow mech warriors to compete against one another in simulated mech battles, generating experience for participating mech warriors. Each mech warrior with less than 10k total experience will gain 20 experience points per day. Commander, have you seen these simulator pods? They're fantastic. I take back everything bad I've ever said about the Argo. We gotta get these things running ASAP. I agree.
Roger that, Commander.
We will do that. Work on the Training Module 1 upgrade has begun. Interesting that we are there. Kind of halfway there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and keep running time forward 5 more days. Just so that the work on the Quick Draw is done. There we go. All work orders are complete. and we will launch the contract. However, I'm going to put a cut in this, and we will be launching the contract next episode. See you all then.